How to get the construction leads, are they even worth it? This is the second video which goes through into the tools we're going to talk about that you need to wear with yourself, the terminology that you need to know so that when you're talking to your construction superintendent, they know that you know your craft, and the be aware of the language, legal language that you must be familiar with yourself to protect yourself. If you haven't watched the first video where I talk about worth it, how to get them, gear that you need to have, then watch that video and then continue on this video because it is the continuation. If you know how to get those, then let's dive in. So tools which you need. Whenever you go to a construction site, remember your enemy is the sawdust, haze dust. That's like everywhere. It's the beauty of it as well. When you go, you're not dealing with a grease, caked on, greasy kitchens and floors and nasty bathrooms. In general, those been flipped. What you need to do is remove the haze. So haze remover is something you want to have with yourself. Haze is everywhere, right? Because they cut the drywall, they cut the studs, they come together and it's everywhere. And what you're gonna find out with the haze is you can keep mopping it, and when it dries, when you mop it, it's gonna look amazing, especially the floors. But when you mop it and it dries, it's gonna be like all pushed up, like whitish, and you need to keep washing and washing. Haze remover helps to remove that haze easier. You need to have multiple mop heads, of course. So you wanna shop vac it. So shop vac is another tool that you need to have before you start mopping the floors, and you want to put with a haze remover and then multiple times, and then use the regular mop to mop it again to make sure it's dry. Do not leave the place until it's dried and it looks good. Otherwise, your construction superintendent will call you and he's gonna say, dude, you told me you know how to do construction jobs. Apparently you don't. So do that. Haze removal is important. And if you have a walk behind scrubber, if the job is big enough, then the problem solved, because walk behind scrubber is consistently putting a clean water, neutral pH, scrubbing it and picking up the dirty water, so there's no contamination, so you're not actually dragging the same haze over and over. So haze removal would be one. And of course, you have to have your normal window cleaner and etc., which you do cleaning. So these are not the all tools. These are the specific tools that are related to construction that you want to have on top of your regular cleaning supplies, vacuums and etc. that you have. So haze removal, shop vac, and then make sure you have a stainless steel polish. Normally with stainless steel being, so you can see the doors, kick plates, right, that you need the stainless steel polish. Talking commercial, paper holders, the trash can liners, the faucets. You can go to bathrooms now or commercial, the rails, handrails, and etc. Those need to be polished, and this is where you're going to need a stainless steel polish. Blade, make sure you have this flat blade that I've showed in my other video about the products that you need to start your cleaning. And that's super important because you will see a lot of stickies left from like people or construction team peeling off the brand new product, and there's a glue, so you need to scrape it off. In some cases you put like a neutral cleaner, wet it and then scrape it off. Goof off is super important as well. So when you go see the paint and it's not coming out with a blade, I mean, before you use a blade, make sure you're not scratching the surface, but let's say it's not coming out with regular cleaning, then put a little bit of goof off on an least visible area. See if it doesn't discolor, then if it's working, then remove it, because we know that the painters sometimes are sloppy, right? They're like super sloppy, and if there's paint everywhere, you are expected to remove it. And also the film, right? So if it's a brand new post-construction house that you clean and there's like a film plastic on the appliances, you want to remove that. So the construction managers expect when they come in to have it all gone. I had a misperception in the past. I'm like, oh, I want the homeowner to remove this film and I want the homeowner to open it and see the packaging and remove it. Not true. They don't want it in general. I mean, if you're unsure, just ask your general contractor or superintendent you're working for. But in general, you want that gone and polished stainless steel, open inside of the appliances, remove all the books. There, you will find manuals there. And what you want to do is all manuals normally go in a kitchen drawer, open and put them all in one manual. So anything that you think you don't want to throw away or unsure of, put it there. So you want to make sure that it's all there and taken care of. Of it as if like you are in a homeowner or like the customer, and you come in and everything is clean and spick and span, you start moving it. That's how you want to leave the place after construction cleaning has been performed. So let's start talking about a terminology. They're gonna throw at you a lot of terminology, and I'm gonna mention good amount of them, at least essential ones, and then know some of them, then leave them in a comment and I will respond to them. So PO, which is a purchase order. So sometimes they're gonna say, I'll issue a PO. So which means that's okay. You're going to have a master contractor agreement signed. And now for each job, they will give you a purchase order. PO stands for purchase order, which defines what job you're going to do, what's your scope of work, when you're going to get paid, and etc. So PO, which means purchase order. So superintendent can say, hey, I'm going to give you a PO. They're like, sure, send me a PO. Once you have the PO, then you're clear to go and do the work. Until you have the PO or a written agreement, just the handshake, do not go. Because we had very bad experiences, and I would like to save you through those headaches and hustles that we have. Estimating, they're gonna say, hey, what's the estimate? So you're gonna throw at them the estimate. Is the rough cleaning versus final cleaning. So in a rough cleaning, it means deep cleaning. What the construction company is trying to do is to see imperfections, right? Like, hey, once you clean everything, then you can see better. Before the customer comes and sees it and yells at them, they wanna do a rough cleaning. So which takes a good amount of time, but that's not a final cleaning. This is just to see imperfections and then send in the electrician back in, a plumber back in, a carpenter back in to get the place perfect to a customer. And a final cleaning. Final cleaning is like you came in, did everything, and you leave the place and it's spotless. So rough cleaning and final cleaning is different. Sometimes you charge more for rough cleaning. The difference between the times for final cleaning is not too bad because you know the select contractors will come in, do a little bit of work. You might need to do a little less cleaning. Sometimes if the interval between the rough cleaning and final is more, you might charge the same amount and the same amount for final cleaning here as well. Lien waivers, they're gonna throw in a lien waiver at you and freak out. And that's very standard terminology. Lien waiver, it means when the customer pays you the agreed amount, you signing it saying that you have no dispute for this property and you're not going to put a lien against it or attempt to put a lien against it. I mean, in general, the cleaning contracts, the amount of the work that we do don't qualify for a lien waiver, but if they say you're like, dude, sign it, I'll pay you then, that's a normal practice. In the beginning, I was like, weary. I'm like, why am I gonna say something where I can't take you to court? I have nothing to say. I'm satisfied without having a check, but that's the procedure. They will want you to sign first. Pay attention to the verbiage. It says upon receiving the payment. So which means lien waiver kicks in after you receive your payment and get paid. Otherwise, you have a right to apply or lien or try to apply a lien on it. Insurance, it requires a specific insurance. So when you have an insurance certificate, they're gonna want you to add you as a certificate holder at the bottom and then put you for a description. There's normally specific verbiage and you wanna take that verbiage and give it to your insurance carrier. If your insurance carrier is charging you for all of these, then you don't wanna work with the insurance company because in general, the good, respectable insurances, they know that you will be adding people. I heard charge $50, $65 at a company. You don't want to work with those insurance companies or at least have your insurance converted. Then you can add as many additionally insured people as you'd like. You're getting a value from this video. You know what comes next. Hit that like button, please, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Thank you for doing this. I just gave you a moment to take care of that. Certified payroll is going to be something else. So they'll throw sometimes certified payroll. So if they want a certified payroll, there's a specific instruction how you fill out the certified payroll, which basically says I paid this person on this day this much amount. And that is to ensure that some projects require it, right? Especially government projects or larger projects will require for you to fill this out. Then when you're doing it, incorporate that into your pricing. You want to charge them more because now there's more admin work involved with this. You're giving a list who worked, what days, what are the hours, how much you paid, and you have to have a documentation which matches with your books. It has to show that that's exactly what you paid. Sometimes they might even ask for Davis-Bacon prevailing wage. They do that, then the price goes up again. Davis-Bacon prevailing wage is usually like a minimum and overhead, and they'll tell you what to pay to a specific category. If they say, hey, Davis-Bacon, you have to do this and give me certified, then you want to go and ask them like, okay, what's the rate for my cleaner? And they'll send you a link and you can see how much the cleaner should be getting paid. And you know you're paying that amount to your cleaner, then your overhead, then your tools, equipment, if you have to rent something, and then your profit goes in. So make sure you do incorporate them. Otherwise, you're paying someone else and working for free, which you don't want. And now let's go to the super cool part to protect you legally. They ask you to clean glass. Normally there are stickers and you need to remove them. When you're using that flat blade to remove it, if a glass is tempered, then you might actually scratch it. If you scratch the glass, and it might have paint, right? Painters could have done sloppy job. If you scratch the glass, then you know what happens. They're gonna come after you and they can ask you to try to replace it. You do not want that. You don't wanna not only get paid, but also be responsible for replacing glass. So therefore, issue a tempered glass waiver. Just Google it, ChatGPT it, or put it in a message. I'll find one for you and I'm probably gonna put it at ANS resources. Speaking of the links on the website, there's a link that I have for the products that I mentioned, the product list. So go to ansimpact.com product list and you'll be able to see the link to those that I've mentioned. So tempered glass waiver is what you want your construction company to fill out for you. If it's a big company like a Whiting Turner Clark Construction, etc., they're gonna say, oh, they're not gonna do it. That's fine, right? Just make sure you at least send them an email and look, if the window is deficient and I will likely use a scraper and it scratches it, that's not on me, please acknowledge. So you wanna take care of that. No warranty. So you're gonna see a lot of contracts standard on the general contractor terms. They'll say 1 year warranty after completion, and it's standard, right? Labor and materials, the home improvement. But cleaning, how can you guarantee that the toilet is not going to get dirty after somebody else goes and does whatever he or she does on it? Impossible, right? Not to mention the whole year. So therefore, find the guarantee clause and scratch it and initial next to it before you send it, and make sure they initial back to you, the general contractor or construction firm, when they send it back to you. And then you can ask for 1/3 as a down payment when you ask for it, and then standard as well. Be prepared, right? You have to know and have a reason why you're asking 1/3. For example, if your project is larger and you need to buy some stuff like materials, rent some leased equipment, scissor lift, behind scrubbers, hot water pressure washers, whatnot, you can go to them and like, dude, I need to do this. But if it's just the labor and you want to get the 1/3, they're probably gonna push back and gonna say you're not buying anything, right? For electricians, plumber, HVAC contractors, they normally pay 1/3 because they have to buy materials. For carpenters, the same. But if the carpenter is not buying materials, they normally backdate it. I mean, you provide the service and go for it. So, but 1/3 is a very standard to ask for it, assuming you have a proof. And then super important thing let's ensure that you get paid upon completion. The payment terms are normally standard. You're gonna see a lot of net 30 days, which means you finish the job, you invoice them, clock starts from the day they receive your invoice. If you do it online, you can track when they open it, and then 30 days, right? That's net 30. You will also see net 45 or net 60, and those are okay as well. If you can manage your cash, stretch it accordingly, and cash management is super important, then go for it. But if you can't, then this is the part you want to negotiate. You want to negotiate this before you sign off on it, right? So that's important. And if you don't want to do it, then, and it's fine, then do it. But what you don't want to do is sometimes there is a terminology. It says pay when get paid, which means a contractor will pay you after they get paid from a customer. But since we're the last people, listen what happens, right? We normally don't get paid for a long time if you go with pay when you get paid terms. Because what happens is, do the rough cleaning or final cleaning, customer who ordered comes in and does the inspection, and there are deficiencies, electrical permit is missing or something, and they do not pay you the final draw until this is taken care of. And if it needs to go to the permit department, that's even gonna take forever until this company gets paid, and then they'll take the funds and pay you. So therefore, you do not want that, because just, it's impossible. Sometimes you don't know, it might take years. So go with net 30, that's standard. Normally don't even argue with them. Longer, you can negotiate. Pay when you get paid is no, at least for us. If you got a value from it, hit that like, questions, go to the comments. Check out this video next. Can't wait to see your success. Bye-bye.